Welcome back, everybody. Once again to the Teen It Up Edition podcast. It's week 2 for us here at DFS Karma and Bet Karma. We're going to talk everything tonight. The American Express tournament this week at PGA West Stadium, a little bit different than years prior, obviously with the no Pro-Am. We'll talk last week. We had a bet hit at 50-1 with Kevin Na over at Bet Karma. That was big for us to start out the year. We'll talk everything, what went right, what went wrong, and then anything that we took away from physically watching golf this past weekend. Sam, I'll start with you as always. How'd your week go, DFS-wise, betting-wise, and then any of your quick takeaways before we get on to next week?
I put it in my article that came out a couple hours ago on DFS Karma. I broke even. I made like 4 lineups like I normally do. I had a 6 of 6 that did about as badly as a 6 of 6 could do. The 6 percentage I think was high, but I needed ZJ to play well, and he played over par on the weekend somehow. I didn't have I didn't have Steele, I didn't have Na, and I don't know, I didn't have a bunch to talk about. And then cash wise, normally a 4 or 6, you're kind of good. I had Webb, but the fact that I played Scott Pearson in I deserved to lose. I really did. I played Russell Knox, who I know burned you. That was just I deserved to lose, and I'm playing guys like that in cash. But it was fine. I always enjoy watching. It's weird because against football it's tough, and the coverage obviously sucks. But I did watch a decent amount, when football wasn't on. I will say, and then we're moving on. We're never going to talk about it again. I did think the Browns played pretty well. They were not a
joke. Yeah, it was an awesome game.
If you take away the last 10 minutes of their play calling, they actually were in the game the whole time. So
I was not going to really bring it up tonight, but
I brought it up for you. But yeah, this week, like you said at the top, is interesting with the no Pro-Am. There's kind of a lot of unknowns. So there's also been, I will say, there's been a couple guys in the last couple hours that have withdrawn because of COVID stuff. So be aware of that. With the later lock, it should be easier for most people. But yeah, the no Pro-Am, only playing 2 courses instead of 3. I think it'll still be a total birdie fest with a 20 under, whatever, similar to last week. But yeah, it could be interesting. They might make the pins tougher with no amateurs. If there's wind, that's always a big change. But yeah, these guys should go low. And I think there's a lot of value, especially with Rahm withdrawing yesterday. That kind of changes all the Vegas odds, all the stuff. So it should be a way better tournament than normal. It's the strongest field, I think, since 2005. So it should be a good one.
Yeah, real quick, obviously, I'll touch on your little Brown segment there. Tough game, awesome season. They're stacked. It's going to be a long run. So, y'all can tune into our NFL podcast. But, yeah, tough way to end it there. Getting into the weeds, obviously, for myself, you guys know the drill. If you're listening to this podcast, more than likely you've been listening for quite a long time. If you are new, say, hey, what up? Welcome. But as always, you can find Sam's and mine core play. I had Kevin Na in my core play. I played 1 main lineup last week with Webb, Kevin Na, a few others. Of course, you mentioned Russell Knox was the only guy that didn't make the cut for me. So I had a nice 5 out of 6 lineup. And for the first week was great start. Just like last year, as many weeks as I can, I will be using our optimizer on the website. And in all seriousness, I probably spent about literally 3 to 5 minutes of real time, just kind of dabbling with the settings, and I make 150 lineups. I kind of tweak towards and go overweight towards some of the guys that I talk about in our Discord chat. Generally you're going to lose more often than not. We talked about this a lot last year. We won't get into the thick of it tonight. But I had a losing week with my MME. I think I lost $500. So at the end of the day, I'll probably keep dabbling with that, especially looking forward to the $5 that kind of comes back. I didn't see that last week, or I just missed it. Obviously hit with the Kevin Na bet myself at 50-1. That was huge for my bankroll management to start the season. Now I got some wiggle room, probably for, the next 6 to 8 weeks. And that's just a nice buffer. So you can find Sam and myself's outright bets.
Yeah.
Bet Karma.
Yeah, I'll say I got lucky because we hit that first round leader with Kokrak. Of course, Neiman, for some unknown reason, is Eagles the last to make it a 3-way shot. But it was lucky that basically after round 1, we were already in the positive. Yeah. After my outright sucked. But I'm glad we hit one. We hit a first round leader. So
I know we troll a lot in Discord. but I wasn't joking when I said this. I didn't realize till about day 3 of golf that we won the Coke Rack bet, because generally, just the way my days go with Wednesdays, I generally just tail your first round leader picks historically. Like that's what I did all last year. I forgot I tailed your picks. And then I was wondering how my bank account got a little flush when there was no real NFL games going on, like early Saturday. So I went back and found, oh yeah, there's Sam's Coke Rack 60-1 hit. I mean, that was incredible. So we had a 60-1 hit and a 50-1 hit. Listen, we're going to talk everything DFS like we always do, but I encourage you guys, just like we did the last year and the year prior, start getting more into betting. The ROI is just sick historically. DFS it's a more saturated game. We love it. I love DFS. I'm probably never going to stop playing it. But all right, enough of that. Of course, DFSkarma.com to find all that stuff. Let's get into it. You guys can see on YouTube. We're going to do this all season long. We have our projections portal. This is run by Sam. I am very bullish long-term on our data division for all sports. But, in specific tonight, we're talking golf. And quantitatively speaking, I make a lot of my decisions just through the data. I mean, of course, I read the content. Of course, a lot of stuff is gut decisions as well. Golf having a little narrative street baked into things. But we'll tonight go through this a little bit in greater detail, just like last week. So as always, let's kind of start quickly up top. Let's just include Sungjae at 9,900 and above. There's always like 5 guys up top. Sam, real quick, I usually start at the poll here. Of course, I would assume, this is early, it's Tuesday now. I mean, here's the projected ownership. I love how this is color coded. So if you guys are new and seeing this for the first time, head on over to YouTube if you're listening to us on iTunes or other media outlets, and you can see what we're talking about, or just go to the website. I mean, it's free. This portion is free. You can see right now there will be heavy ownership on basically all these guys up top. That's why we don't talk about him much. I like Cantlay the most, and I will go back to Sungjae after a quote-unquote bad week last week. Probably fading Brooks, 18% I feel like might end up being high, but all these other guys, I love Finau. Historically, I like Reed. Right now for me, I'm planting the flag up top with Cantlay and Sungjae if I am going up top, but I may not need them in my main lineup. Where are you at?
Yeah, I mean, I expect him to be one of the highest owned, but I think Patrick Reed should probably be just the betting favorite. I don't know why he's not. I mean, he's better than Cantlay. He's definitely better than Finau. I mean, I don't know. I put in my article, Reed is just funny because his stats will almost never rate out well, and also everyone hates him. So, I haven't projected. I think this will be around when he comes in. I think he'll be high owned with Rom withdrawing, but I could always be lower just because people hate him. He just is so solid. I mean, he's never really out of it, in my opinion. I always touch on his, scrambling and putting ability, and, here you want to make a lot of birdies, but it's not like he doesn't make a lot of those too. But I just think if there's ever any trouble, he always gets out of it. He's playing fine. I know he withdrew well before last week. I'm not sure why, but he's not hurt. So he's probably my favorite play. His last 3 starts, he has, 21st, 3rd, and 10th. And I'm also eating the chalk with Scotty Scheffler. I was never really on the Scheffler train, but I don't know. He's like, I read an interesting article the other day about how kind of he's right in the mix with that, Wolf, Morikawa, and everything like that. He just doesn't have a win, so he's not really highly touted as they are, but he's damn good. He makes so many birdies. I think people remember last year he made a huge charge in the back 9, almost got into a tie for first, but those are probably my 2 favorite guys. And I definitely will have at least one of them in cash, probably both, assuming I can make it work. But I don't know. Yeah, it's hard. In my article, you'll see my pivot, quote unquote. I'll just tell you, I mean, it's Abraham Answer, but I mean, I just think all these guys will get a decent amount of ownership with the exception of probably Ricky and Kevin Na, but I don't really have much interest in them I know I already moved down for us, but yeah.
Yeah, I was just going to yell at you for that. Of course, you already went down to the next tier,
Because I need to take the picks before you say them.
No, but 2 things come to mind. So number one, I don't think this podcast we really opened up in great detail. And as the podcast go on with the season and we even get more of the groove of it, I think this course is probably, since it is the stadium only this year, looking back historically at, the stats, I think are a little bit going to be skewed, obviously, because this course is a lot tougher, I would assume.
It's a little harder, but also you have to remember that previously 2 of the courses, so they're playing 2 this year instead of 3, and normally only one of them has shot link data. And then still with the taking one away, there's only one course. So like, yeah, they play this one more often, but you're not, when a guy goes out and like when Hadwin shot like a 59 or whatever on the course that they're not playing this year, I mean, there's no strokes gained for that. So it's kind of hard.
Yeah, no, that's true. I'm kind of, yeah, exactly. Couple things though. We talked about this last week, and I honestly forget who it was, who was like the 5th guy on our projections portal. Number one, I'm going to highlight this for the people watching on YouTube. The karma value column is the nuts. Like, I love this for all of our sports. For example, like, not to get off topic, I can come home, get on my computer at like say 6:40, right? I can come onto the NBA projections portal. I can make a good cash lineup in, no joke, 60 seconds. And generally, it's just going through here and plucking guys from the karma value column. You can more than likely do the same for golf, but I will state, and Sam can back it. I mean, it's his as well. Like, for example, me and him both love Scotty Scheffler. The only bet I will drop for free this week is on this podcast. I already put it in Bet Karma. I mean, I'm planting the flag with Scotty, probably in both DFS and in the betting markets. He isn't projecting for a high value right here, but that's okay. I mean, it's not the end all be all, right? So I just wanted to point that out. You can see clearly Sam is projecting him for probably the highest owned player on the slate. He's got a great price discount. And if you're wondering how we can even come to these conclusions, obviously Sam has a magical wizard of potions that he mixes around and comes up with these numbers. But, when you look at like this win odds column, right? We talked about this last week. If you look at this top 5 odds column, right? We talked about this last week. So you can clearly see his ranking here relative to the 7, 8 guys above him. This win odds, right? You can click this and it's functionable. So if you sort this, you'll see Scotty jumps up to number 4, right? So he's clearly already a value in the DFS market. I mean, this is how I interpret data for all of our sports, really. I mean, but in golf in specific, like, this is a tool that I love using. And like, as we go on through the podcast throughout the spring and summer, we'll talk more and more about some of these other things. I mean, Sam, feel free, you can jump in later this evening, talk about something else. So again, Scotty Scheffler, love him. For now, I'm going to sort back to salary. I like to do this only because to the naked eye, again, you can kind of start to see who's popping and projecting with value. And actually, overall points, yes. I mean, I know this is like a common theme with, several companies out there, and we need it. But I don't think the column on the far left is like the end all be all. It's kind of nice to see how things are, but I really believe in the value, and especially for golf. Not that I want to come on here right now and talk about Ricky Fowler and Kevin Na, but real quick before we move on to the next range, when I'm making my optimizer lineups, and I'm clicking the optimizer button up here, you can buy this product. It's an awesome product. It's a machine learning derivative product that we use. We've had servers on the back end. They run these simulations. You want to pick guys, and we'll pick them out on the podcast. You want to have some guys that are striking like this, like low green, like Ricky Fowler, Kevin Na. Like, why not, Sam? We joke every week that the guy who wins the week prior, right, is #tired. So these are 2 guys right now I would consider in my multi-entry lineups this week, and potentially maybe going a little bit overrate. And again, I'm fading Koepka, I'm fading Finau, I'm fading. I probably won't fade some Jay, but yeah, that's what I'm looking at up top. Where are you at as we start to get to the next range? I agree with you in answer. Like, the guy he's fairly priced. You can see we're projecting him at 19% ownership right now. He's going to be high owned. I mean, look at the karma value. If you just sort right here, Abraham Answer is like our 4th or 5th best value on the entire slate. So
yeah, it's weird. Yeah, Answer, it's like, we talk about this a lot on all sports, and especially golf, where it's like people are just too, I don't know if they're too sharp or there's just too many tout.com sites out there, but like, Answer had a garbage week last week, but everyone knows just because he missed like every single putt that he hit. And so like, it's not really a secret. He played well here last year. I expect him to be highly owned. I like him. I like Russell Henley a lot last week. Last week he was my pick to win, and this week he's going to be mega owned. I mean, he just hits the ball so well. He's another guy on my 6 of 6 that like on Sunday, he literally did not make a putt until like hole 16. So that's kind of crazy. I mean, if we're moving kind of down, I assume we'll go like, Answer to Ryan Moore, I guess, who I don't know why he's 8,000. But I mean, the guys though, I don't have a ton of interest in this range, with the exception of 2 guys. I think one will be chalk, one of them's not. I like Patton Kazire quite a bit, 84. It's weird to see that price. I thought, I'm kind of, when I get to do ownership, I kind of can try to judge buzz around the industry. We use our friends at Fanshare Sports, but I don't know. I mean, Kazire's stats are great. I mean, he's first in putting on Bermuda, first in birdie or better, second on par 5. His approaches have looked kind of garbage, but that's the one thing I'll say about our stat ranks early in the season is a lot of these guys haven't played in a while. And so, they'll be a little skewed, but I like Kazire a lot. I think he's been playing sneakily well. I think he's made 7 straight cuts. And then Sam Burns, dude, me and you would play Sam Burns all the time. That's my bet. I'll give away. I already bet Sam Burns, but
me too.
Yeah,
damn, I gave away 2 bets on the podcast. I said I wasn't going to do it, but yeah, he's going to be popular. You can see right now, you're already projecting him for 17%, and that could rise. I mean, again, these update kind of in real time throughout the week. Again, not popping for extreme value, but Sam does tweak projections all throughout the year too. I mean, I wouldn't always hold it as a deterrent on your overall making, but yeah, we both like Sam Burns. By the way, I don't like that in Kazire. I know you do, but I would.
No, I know you. We've had discussion. You're not an Adam. That's fine. I mean, the overarching thing I'll say without talking about every player. I mean, I will say I think the guys like Champ to Long, like 890, 8,500. I don't think any of these guys are going to be really owned like whatsoever. I mean, I'm not playing Phil.
You can see it again. To go back, my favorite column right here, projected ownership. Look at all the green. I mean, these guys are all going to be low owned. And again, some people act like 7%, is like high owned. I mean, honestly, look real in golf, it's not, because you have a 6-6 lineup and you have a guy or two at 6, 7, 8%. You're fine. That's all you need is a couple guys unique. I mean, my cursor happened to land on Lanto Griffin. I mean, this guy's actually been playing well. Not that I really wanted to bring Lanto Griffin up tonight, but again, that's just the logic you need to have with DFS golf, because good players miss the cuts. Let's be real. Like, golf is just like every other sport where #sport happens. And again, I'm talking more GPP right now. Bake that into your decision making. All right, let's start to move on, because I think the range kind of below that, like your low 8K range, 7K range is where a lot of players are going to start to populate.
I'll just say that I know the guy who's going to burn me, but I have no interest is Adam Hadwin. I get he's played well here every year. His form is like so bad. So I guess this is the real test, whether course history matters.
I can't wait to see the people in 50-50s and double ups that play Adam Hadwin, because that they are the diehard truthers behind.
No, I mean, like, it's fine. The last 4 times he's played this course, he's come top 6. That's really impressive. Like, that's
but what did we talk about when we opened the podcast? I mean, this is not the same course. This is not the same tournament.
Take the year he came second. He shot a 59 on a course that they're not even playing this year. So it's like, I don't know. Yeah, Hadwin, if he burns me, that's fine. He probably will, now that I said it. But like, he ranks bad for me in everything. He's missed 3 straight cuts. He's lost on approach and tee to green, I think, in his last 4. So I don't have much interest. I don't know what. Again, I'm such a sucker. I mean, now that I probably won't play him. I mean, Brian Herman continues to screw me over. I mean,
he was like our number 1 value last week. We talked about him on the projection portal, on the podcast. I even played him because
he didn't trunk slam, but he was
did what Brian Herman does. He's just a guy. He's a jab.
He came in like 38th or something. Just had such a Brian Herman finish.
I will say, and I know you know this, even though you and I have the same sentiment right now on him. As long as my guys make the cut, I'm cool with it. Like, I mean,
totally.
Whatever happens.
Most weeks, dude, like, just making a cut is like immediate. I mean, like last week, like, I literally could not have run worse with my 6 of 6. Like, that shit like barely cashed, but like, it was. Then again, I have the winner with a second place guy or Neiman, who was chalk. But I mean, yeah, I agree. I mean, that's why I'll probably play Zach Johnson again, even though I hate him, and he's a coward.
He is projecting well according to your value, I got to admit, and he's projecting low ownership. I mean, this is almost like optimal. I'm referencing for people on YouTube watching right now. to me, again, Tuesday, I wasn't really looking into Zach Johnson. Now I'm going to take a mental note because Sam's kind of harping on him. I know he talked about him kind of actually opening the podcast. But here's a perfect example of the data, how it can spit out to you. So Sam already, has inclination that he's leaning towards Zach Johnson either in a GPP setting or cash game. I don't know. We are projecting him for extreme value. You can just see it just stands out to you. The color code talks to you, right? And then also he's somewhat low owned. I mean, 5%, like I make plays like this all the time in cash games. Like I actually enjoy, I thrive. I look forward to playing the guys that are low owned in cash games. I want other people to question my decision making because preferably if I'm making just one lineup, and obviously I mentioned the optimizer, that's different. That's mass entering, but I want some uniqueness. So there you go. I mean, Zach Johnson, 79,900 checks all your boxes you're looking for. He ranks 4th in your model. I mean, look at this. Wow.
No, he does. I mean, that's why I played him last week. I mean, it's because, he has good, again, he doesn't hit it far. It doesn't matter. He's a good wedge player. He actually makes a lot of birdies from doesn't hit it far. He's a great putter. The par fives, it's tough. I mean, he has these stretches like when he won the Masters. He birdied every single par five, I think, for the week and didn't go for a single 1 and 2. But, here you have to score on the par fives. It's so easy. So I don't know. I take a step with that. But I don't know. Take Zach Johnson and Charles Howell. Are they that different? I guess Zach Johnson actually wins or has won.
Charles Howell, we did not bring him up. He's 7,800. How did his price drop? Now that I'm looking at him and you bring him up.
That's what I'm saying. I don't know. Again.
Why? He was 8,000 last week, and that was – I feel like this is an easier field for him. I mean, again, now I'm starting to do a double take. He's been on fire. I don't know how many cuts he's made in a row if you wanted to pull that up, but kind of just going through it. Looks like you're already picking up on the algorithms here. You're kind of projecting him at 10% or higher. You can see how the color code starts, that heat map starts projecting that. I mean, obviously 6 here in the karma value sector. You can see it's starting to get into the lukewarm area. So, the data is projecting for Charles Howell to do fairly well. And then again, if you scroll over here, I'll look at another tab for people on YouTube watching. Go to course horse rank here. And Charles Howell ranks 6th.
Is it me or does it seem like Charles Howell has good course history at 12 courses during the year?
He's very good in the first 3 months of the year. I feel like every year, right?
Oh, dude, California. Yeah, California is where you play him. By the way, he's made, let's see, 5 straight cuts. He had a random miscut at the Punta Cana in September. That was weird. And then, he's been pretty consistent, his normal stuff. He basically, his only top 20 was last week, but he finished between 30 and 40th. So again, that's someone where I'm finding cash because he has but his upside is so low. But in the cash, pool, he has a pretty safe floor. Now that I said that he's going to miss the cut, but I don't know. Actual finishes wise, you can see his kind of my course history rank form, which is a weighted metric. He missed the cut last year here, but before that he had made 9 straight cuts with 4 top 20s in a second. So
let me I don't know if you're actually able to look through Zoom at the projections portal.
I see it.
So I've highlighted a guy that you and I were very bullish on last year. There's no reason to get off the wagon. That's Cameron Davis at 7,700. He's going to be owned. You're projecting 8% right now. But again, unless it's 25%, like some of these other guys, of course you're going to always play some chalkier guys. To me, that's still low owned. I know the value is projecting only 1.5 right now, but I sorted this column a little bit different. I sorted this one by the top 5 odds rank. See where my cursor's at up here. And you can clearly see everybody that's looking at this now. Of course, these are the big dogs. Cantlay, Reed, Finau, him, Scotty Tuhati, Answers up here. Our boy Sam Burns is up here. But it's interesting that, once you start tailing off, of course, there's still big names, guys that you would understand that would still have that, top 5 equity. And then, bam, then there's Cameron Davis, right? So I think this is another way. I like looking at the projections portal. To me, this is what Las Vegas is saying. Hey, here's a guy with a lot of extreme upside. And some of this stuff, obviously, Sam has already built into the projections, overall on the far left, blah, 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 and the value. He can explain that if he wants. But this is how I like to use the portal. So Cameron Davis sticks out to me literally in all formats.
Yeah, look, Cameron Davis is one of those guys. Like I have all these guys that just really like. I like him. I wrote him up as a fade only because I think my projection is too low for him. I might change that if he's not. I don't know. I love Cameron Davis. I wish he would win. But my problem is he just like his approach game has just not been there. His driving is just so good. So I think he has like some of the most upside of guys in this range. But it's a thing where it's like,
he's a great MME play.
He is, totally is. I mean, I used to kind of play him in cash and his form's gone a little bit. Funny enough, I really like Aaron Wise. He's been like dead for 2 years, but he's been like playing pretty well.
Yeah, he's nice. Pretty well.
12 for me, tee to green, kills par 5, top 20 and birdie or better. Form-wise, hasn't played in a while, so it's maybe a little skewed, but his last start was a second. I like him. He might be popular, but I'm going back to Chris Kirk. Chris Kirk was in my core plays I gave out. Funny enough, the core plays I gave out was my 6-6 lineup. I just hope people filled in better than I did. But Chris Kirk, I like again. Doc Redman, I know as we move into tomorrow, that ownership will get higher. He's always chalk. I'll probably play him in cash, but like you and I talk about all the time, I think Redman's an easy like play in cash, fade in tournaments. Like I like him in tournaments fine, but I think he's going to get pretty popular. I only have him at like 10 or 11% right now.
Yeah.
And then I'm playing Cameron Tringale at 7,400.
He's projecting massive in the karma value scale with all these guys below 7,700. He's basically let me scroll up. Now I'm up here. He looks to be the 6th highest value in the entire slate.
Yeah, I mean,
lowest ownerships.
Yeah, I mean, people just he always ranks out well stat wise. He's top 10 in putting, birdie or better, par 5s, top 20 in tee to green. I mean, he's solid. He just, I don't know. Again, his upside's kind of capped. Do I think he's going to win the tournament? Probably not. But I just think he's solid. I'd play him in cash.
Too.
Yeah, I'd like him in cash. I mean, what guys are you looking at here? I have a lot. This is like probably my most guys I'll play are probably from that like 76 to 7,000.
Yeah, so this is similar to last week. Like last week we got away with I did. I played Webb in cash. Did you play Webb in cash?
Yeah.
Oh, you did? Okay, yeah. I mean, I felt like we talked about that. That was probably the play. I mean, Cantley 11,000. I get it. If you listen to all the other podcasts, which I'm sure they're all talking about the West Coast narrative with Cantley, is just my guess. I get it, but I don't know. It's just coming off COVID. I don't know if I want to pay up for Cantley and cash. That's why I'll probably have Scotty. And I'll probably live in this range. Tringale, I did notice in the projections portal. I took a note of that. I'll definitely go overweight with him in MME. Seb Straka looks like he's going to be popular, unfortunately. I kind of liked him.
I do too. I'm pissed that people are talking him up. I think Seb Straka is such an elite play. I think he's cash playable.
He played him a lot last year. What's his price at? Seb Straka. Oh, 7,400. I like him. I mean, Joel Dahmen's always a favorite. I'm sure he'll get traction. Unfortunately, Dahmen to me, it's like I feel like he's desert golf. He's kind of like this is his MO anyways. I mean, that could be a really bad take, but
yeah, dude, him and a guy right below him, Chaz Hoffman, desert golfer, Chaz Hoffman.
Yeah. Who else in this range?
Taylor Gooch, I like a lot. He ranks out really well for me.
Taylor Gooch is a great iron player. Vegas is projecting him really well. If I go back to this, you do have the top 20 odd %. Let's see where Taylor Gooch pops up. I guarantee he's up here somewhere. Yeah. I mean, look at this. It's funny you bring that up. I happened to notice him earlier and I was like, man, Taylor Gooch he's doing it again. Like we started playing him a lot last year because he's a big birdie maker. Some of those big tournaments, we were really degenning hard in Showdown. And Taylor Gooch was like a staple for a lot of our lineups, in some of those Showdown entries. And that's when I started playing him more. You're currently projecting him for 8% owned. So, all these guys are going to always be owned, but he's really popping in the karma value. And then, of course, I filtered this, if you're watching on YouTube, by the top 20%, top 20 odd percentage. And look, he's up here with a lot of big names. So that's always like a nice little secret tell, and how you can use this portal.
Dude, I got to talk. We talk about it all the time. I wrote this in my article because it was just so funny. So I'm going to play Keegan. No, I'm not playing him in cash. This is actually, so we know how bad of a putter he is. How about this? Keegan Bradley in his has lost strokes putting in every single tournament except for one since last June. The one he gained in, he came fourth. But during that same time frame, he has gained on approach and tee to green in like 9 straight tournaments. If he literally did not just like miss every putt, he like literally gained strokes putting once, finishes fourth. The time before that, he came top 25. The time before that, he came 12th. Like literally, since last year's Sony to last week, he's gained strokes putting 3 times. It's like an anomaly. I mean, it's like it doesn't seem possible to be that bad consistently.
Well, it's ridiculous, and I have a memo that I live by after playing him. I don't know if it was Torrey Pines or some big tournament I played him in last year. And in cash, of course, I took the low own route, and I said never again because the dude was winning after like honestly day one, and I'm looking at my lineup like I'm gonna murder this week. I mean everything's rolling, and Keegan is the only guy that missed the cut somehow. He literally was winning. I don't remember the tournament. I apologize, but
we call that going full Keegan.
Never playing him again. If you just look at his strokes from just last week at the Sony. 7 strokes he lost. He just never stops. Like if you just pull up his historical putting, we know this, but like I'm not touching him in cash games at all. But yeah, he is popping in some of the projections. Obviously,
it's just so funny because like for instance, the fact. Let's keep in mind he lost 7 strokes putting last week. That was in 2 rounds. He didn't even play all the rounds. But like first tee to green, third in par 5s, fourth on approach, and then 151st in putting. It's like, oh my God, dude.
So let's start running through this. We got about 5 minutes left of the pod. We're kind of trying to keep it on the same time schedule for everybody this year. So Brendan Steele, I'll just bring it up. Like, look, Sam does the work for you. It's easy. Here's a guy, he came in second last week or third, I don't know. He's going to be owned 10%. My quick analysis is like, yeah, Brandon Steele looked good last week, and he's probably going to do good again this week just because you know how this game is, man. They tend to play well week to week. But, dude, I don't know. Like, playing DFS for so long, I'd rather have any other lower-owned guy at 7,300. Absolutely. I don't want so much chalk my lineup. Like, I actually think Brandon Steele is actually, like, a good play this week. I do. I don't want to do it. And, look, Sam my thought is, all these like higher as the season goes on, if you see guys 10, 15% in the low 7K range, like avoid them in cash games. It's just, trust me.
Yeah, it's a bomb.
Yourself pain. Yeah. And you know what? If Brandon Steele wins, then you lost. I mean, it is what it is. Okay, let's move on. I want you to just think about a couple names like in the low 7s or 6s. Like I'm not even talking about the guys in the 6s because I frankly didn't look. But I love your Wyndham Clark pops in value. And I played him a lot last year. I'm playing Wyndham Clark. I will go 3x the field in MME. I will have 10 to 12% of Wyndham Clark in my MME. And you make life easy. I'll probably go to Matt Jones. I mean, again, you're making life easier. Boy Scott Piercy, he probably pissed others off this week. Look, he's popping again. And then Denny McCarthy down here. So these are some of the guys that I'll probably be going a little bit overweight. And then, if you got some names for me in the 6K range, by all means.
Yeah. I mean, my favorite pivot down that range, it's from my article too, but I love Johnny Huh. Best name on tour, Johnny Huh. He has been playing pretty well. He's made a bunch of cuts in a row with he's had 3 top 20s in his last 5 starts. I don't think anyone knows or cares who he is, but he's only 7,200. He'll be under 5%, well under 5%. I like Danny McCarthy. I have him around 5. He could get popular. I actually think he is cash playable even at 6. I don't normally like going to that range, but I like him. The only other guys I'll mention below there, I mean, this tournament, like the average winner has literally been over 100 to 1. Like Adam Long won at 600 to 1 2 years ago. So I think it's a great way to take some darts. I like Chesson Hadley. He will not be owned and he will come top 10 or he's going to shoot 80 on day 1 and be out of it. But he gets really hot with a putter and can be a good iron player. And then last week, I played him in Showdown 2 days, actually. But Robbie Shelton, who was a rookie last year, 6,400, he's pretty solid. I like him. He's a good scrambler. He's a really good iron player. He's not a great putter. But, I mean, again, when we start talking about this range, or I'll probably go back to Doug Gim again, you just want these guys to make a cut. They're not going to rate out as well as someone like Patrick Reed and Tony Finau and Brooks. But, you're not expecting the same deal from them. If they come top 20, that's great, but you're not expecting a ton.
Right. Real quick, couple names. I can mention some. I'll go a little overweight in MME. Ben on 7,000. I mean, we all know he can get mega hot in there. I feel like there's always something about him in desert golf a little bit. I don't even know his course history here.
People love Benny on. Like, he always will be owned because people
He's gonna be low owned though.
Like,
I feel like people are just off that train right now. You know, all it's gonna
worth seeing.
It's gonna take a couple hot rounds and they'll get right back on him because he makes birdies in bunches. Again, I'm talking like me and using the optimizer right now. I'll always degen some Kyle Stanley and MME. Your boy Vaughn Taylor, 6,800. Like, again, he's kind of effective with his irons, and he's kind of always there with opportunities gained. It's just Vaughn Taylor's needs to get hot. Jim Herman's been kind of playing a little bit well in this last.
Dude, Jim Herman has been playing well. I gotta say, I can't believe we're talking about Jim Herman on this podcast. Jim Herman has been actually.
I didn't want to break up, but it's a few rounds. It's good iron play. You know the drill. I mean, again, just all he needs is a top 20. You make the cut, and you got a guy like 2% owned. Other than that, I probably won't dabble too much. I'll let the optimizer pluck a few of these guys below, but a lot of these guys are just really bad players for the most part. Like a lot of DFS weeks, like we at least have some names. Like I see Duffner's down here. I mean, he's a guy that, my God, I don't even want to talk about Duffner right now. Luke List, I mean, 6,600. He is the type of guy that just randomly control us all. Ventura.
Jason Duffner, I think former winner of this tournament, Jason Duffner, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. Last guy, Ventura. You talked about him in the past. He kind of pops a little bit with some of the things that I'm looking at.
Yeah.
Boxes wise, but again, I digress. A bunch of crappy names down here. Anything else? I mean, I'm just thinking. I hope everybody enjoyed kind of how we're starting to do the projections portal and talk about things and help navigate. What we're looking at, how we interpret things. So if you guys have any questions, comments, feedback, concern, you can always respond probably to the YouTube channel or hop in Discord, talk to us there. And go from there. I mentioned I'm picking Scotty this week. I'm sticking with it. I know I don't usually pick a guy that's one of the longer shorter favors to win, but who's your guy that you're standing with this week that's not named Scotty?
The bet. I mean, I made a couple bets there in Bet Karma right now. I mean, you already said I also bet Scotty, but I'll go longer. I'm going Taylor Gooch.
I like that. A guy like that, you never know. He gets those irons mega hot and he can score. So that does it. Already moving ahead here. Excited for the American Express Open at PGA West Stadium. As always, you can find all of our content, core plays, the projections portal we talked about, and everything else betting wise at both dfskarma.com and betkarma.com. Thanks, guys. Good luck. We'll talk to you next week.